Welcome to Amberg Acres. So this year we're going to try something a little different. We want to get something to grow on this corridor here that I made 2 years ago. So right now it's just kind of mud and whatever. The ground is soft. We've had snow, so there's still a lot of snow sitting around, but it's soft underneath. So now would be a good time to try frost seeding. And the product we're going to use this year is Hot Chick and Comeback Kid from Domain Outdoors. And this is a product that they recommend for this particular scenario here where you have trails in the woods. They want you to put it down early, frost seed it basically, and that way it has time to start growing before the canopy starts growing above you. Okay, so we're gonna go hook up to the drag, and we're just gonna come back with the drag, and we're gonna drag this just to kind of rough it up, you know. And then we're gonna throw the seed down, and then we'll drive over it a few times just to get that seed to pack in. And we're gonna try it this year, and then I'll let you know in a later video if it's growing or not growing. Okay. So I don't know what this year is gonna bring us. We've had a lot of snow late here in March and beginning of April. We've had quite a bit of snow, and we didn't have any all winter long. So I don't know if we're gonna have a wet spring or a dry spring. I really don't know. I can't predict that, and I don't think anybody else can predict that either. The main food plot will probably be beans again. That's what I'm thinking of going with out there is beans. So we want to get something to grow inside the woods here a little more to give them just that much more stuff to eat, basically, and graze, and maybe that'll help them stick around more on our property and not on the neighboring properties. So I got the trail cleaned up. So we're gonna go get the drag, and we're just gonna drag this a little bit, and then we'll get the seed. I'll show you the seed when I'm ready to put it down. So for those of you that haven't watched the other earlier videos, this is a drag I made, and it hooks right in the back of my counterweight, and then I can just raise and lower it, and it just roughs up the surface. It works okay. There's some things I would do maybe differently. One of the things was putting this hitch a little lower than the counterweight. because it has a tendency to drag in the front there before the drag hits. So that's something I can adjust. I have to adjust the arm, and we'll do that here. Get that adjusted, and then it'll tip more this way. The back of this should hit first, not this. Okay, so I'll get that done, and then we'll get going here. Right, so basically all I was trying to do here is just rip up this grass a little bit that's here, just loosen the dirt a little bit so that that seed has a place to drop into, and then we'll pack it down a little bit after we seed it, and that should be good ground contact, and it should grow. So we'll see what it looks like. So I'm going to run and get the seed. I'm going to take this drag off, and we'll be back in a few minutes. It's only like 9 in the morning, and it's already getting sloppy out here. So I'm probably gonna come back with the 4-wheeler, because this is I'm starting to sink in pretty good with the tractor already. It's supposed to get to 50 today, so yeah, I should be able to throw the seed down and then track it in with the 4-wheeler to kind of pack it into the dirt. All right. You know, I was thinking I would have most of April to get a lot of stuff done out here, and this snow really puts a damper on things as far as getting anything done out here on the trails and all that type of stuff. This is gonna be, I bet you this is another week or two before this melts, and we'll be at the end of April by then, you know, before this is all melted and dried up a little bit. So, and then if we get rain in between, it makes it worse yet. Not gonna be a good April this year. Not gonna get a lot done. All right, so this is what we're using: Comeback Kid and Hot Chick by Domain Outdoors. Basically, the description is location: full or partial sun, logging road, backwoods plot. That's what the description is on this stuff. It works in a lower pH range. Minimal tilling, plow disc or hand rake is what it says. So what does this one say on it? Basically the same thing. So the Hot Chick is basically chicory and a couple of clovers, and then this one is mostly clover. Looks like it's got a little bit of alfalfa in it. And that's recommended for logging roads where you're not going to be able to plow and do that type of stuff. But I think it'll work better that we just roughed it up a little bit. Okay? So I'm going to spread this down, and then we're going to drive around on a four-wheeler and pack this all in. So I just mixed the two together by hand. They almost look like they're the same seed, which that would make sense. It's clover, right? A lot of clover in here. And then there's some of these darker seeds, and I don't know. You know, I don't know what's what in there. But so we're going to use our little spreader there and just spread this stuff around. So I got it set on about a 3. That's what we're going to try. And we're just going to walk up and down the trail and come around the loop here, the other side here, and come through there. Right, well, that was a fast 30 bucks gone. I think each one of these said it was a half an acre, so I may be putting this down a little too thick. What's up, Speedy? I don't know if you can see it there on the ground. So I don't know if that's too thick or not. I guess we'll have to see how it grows. Seems like nothing's coming out of the spreader, you know? So I spread it a little heavier, and then it doesn't seem to go where as far as they say it should. So I'm thinking I'm putting it down too heavy. But anyhow, because we roughed this up a little bit, you know, you can, when I go over it now with the four-wheeler, that'll cover that seed a little bit, push that seed down into that mud, and that should work. So am I doing it right? Did I do it right? Are you going to have food out here this summer? You think I'm doing it okay, buddy? Yeah. Now you don't eat all the seed. You know, I don't want you to eat all the seed, because nothing will grow then if you eat all the seed. Well, that works much better if you have a little more space so you can go side to side with your tires. But you get the idea, you know, the little knobs on your tires pack that all down and push that seed down into the mud a little bit. And yeah, so hopefully this works. We'll report back to you in a month or so and see if something came up. It is middle of April right now. So I'm thinking Memorial weekend maybe, you know, by that time we should see some growth here, I think. And because by that time, you know, these trees are all going to have leaves on it. I can see the buds. The buds are pretty big up there already on some of these maples and stuff. So yeah, it's gonna go quick here now next month, you know. We'll probably wait on the big field until middle of May before we plant that, because that stuff that you don't want to get, you don't want the beans to get frozen. Same with the little circle in here. I'll probably wait till middle of May for that before I plant any of that stuff. So that's it for now. If you like these videos, you know, give me a thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next one.